Hi, I'm Ted Pierce. I'm the front of house engineer with Who's Bad. Also do all their production management. Been with these guys about 13 months, 9 world tours in the last 10 months.
So I know you're using the Tannoy VQ Live System on this tour. What's your first impressions of it?
Very first impression, first day, plugged it in, networked everything together, hit play, was blown away. I come from a very large studio background, and just the fidelity and the high end is absolutely amazing. Honestly, it absolutely blew me away within the first 15 seconds of
how do you
turning the PA on.
How do you think it compares acoustically to other systems you might have used for this kind of job?
It's very comparable. There's I would love to shoot it out between a VDOS or DMB line array. No offense to a Vertec rig, but I would take one of these any day over a Vertec rig.
So I know, even what sort of demands does a tour this size put on a system in terms of performance, material, and the sorts of venues that you're playing?
It's actually very high demanding. We are a Michael Jackson tribute. However, the style of tribute we focus a lot on the band and on the actual performance, as opposed to running a million tracks and that sort of thing. So we are a rock band, and like any other rock band, we do require very nice systems. It's in order to get our sound that we need, we can't just go out there on speakers and sticks. Either need some line arrays or a nice ground stack system.
What sort of boxes are you using for tonight's gigs in terms of the VQ product? Like how many VQ60s, VNet 128s?
Tonight we're using half the PA. We're only using 2 VQ60 tops and 2 of the 215s. On this tour we're traveling with 2 aside, 2 tops and 2 subs aside. 2 VQ60s and then 1 215 and 1 218 on each side.
So are all the venues of a similar scale? Do you think it's important for the system such as this to be scalable to?
Yes, I mean that's like any system, and any touring engineer, it's the amount of air and the size of the room and the amount of people, and also the balconies and so on and so forth is a huge factor in what PA we're using. Like for example tonight, not as large of a room, but yet we still a lot of airs, so we still need to have enough PA to cover the room, but not make it uncomfortable for the audience.
So obviously VQ Live, it's a self-powered system with integrated DSP. So you don't need outboard racks or amplification in. Do you think that's important, or do you have a preference either way for passive or active systems?
You know what, I generally don't have a preference because I'm not the one loading the truck. No, I'm kidding. I'm kind of impartial to that sort of thing, it really just depends on the overall performance of the box. If, I love a passive system, it's fine as long as it performs the way I need to perform, and I can get the sound out of it that I need for a quality show.
What do you see the advantages are in point source systems compared to line array?
In this system, I definitely see an advantage, just the amount of boxes. At 142 SPL a box, it's crazy loud. So like last year, for example, at the same venue, I had 2 MSL3 cabs aside. And this year I have 1 VQ60 box aside. So right there, that saves on crew load-ins, time setting up the rig. Granted, 2 MSL3s boxes aside is not much, but one VQ60 aside is definitely outperforming those boxes from last year, for sure.
What system, actually following on from that, what systems would you normally have specified for a tour like this?
Specified for a tour like this, I was on my production rider. I had a Martin W8 LC specified for it. Once again, small, compact, easy to fly. And when I got the word that we were going to receive this new Tannoy system, at first I'd never heard, like anyone, never heard of the system. Jumped online and started reading the specs, and I was like, I would love to try it. It's just, yeah. At first I just didn't know the system, and after reading the specs and everything, I was like, yeah, I would love to give it a try.
How easy do you think it, obviously for yourself and the crew, how easy do you think it was to set up and tune for a new venue and get a good sound of it compared to what you're used to?
Actually, very easy, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this at all, but this is our 3rd show on this tour. We have 27 more after this. after the first 2 nights, I'm completely comfortable linking everything together, and going through the DSP and the program in the computer, and going through and tuning the room out. It's super easy. Tannoy makes it with the software that comes with the boxes. It makes it super easy because you can locate your device. You can go in and EQ each individual box. Like last night, for example, or 2 nights ago, for example, about a third way through the show, I ended up taking the inside boxes and dropping them, 3 dB a piece, just so I get a little bit more push out of my live vocal mics. Like any engineer knows, when you're ground stacking, you run into a little bit more chance of feedback in front of house, just because you're that much closer in proximity to your PA. So that helped me out a ton. On any other passive rig, without that ability to do that, it would make it a little bit harder. There are plenty of drive rack management systems that have the same capabilities, but it just seems this one's very user friendly and very easy to operate.
So I think the range, obviously it's the first time for Tannoy they've done this sort of thing, so it's still in its infancy and it's being developed over the coming year. So in your professional opinion, what features and additions would you kind of see to the V60 top and the 218 sub would you like to see coming out?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know yet. Being our third show, about to start our third show here, a week from now, I guess I would probably have a lot more ideas as to what modifications and stuff. Being the third show, I'm just now getting settled into the rig. Just now being able to actually go in and tweak everything. Just because brand new tour, it takes a lot to get everything and get everyone comfortable. Make sure everything's running okay, so I can just go out there and focus simply on the rig. And tonight was actually one of the first nights I've been able to do that. Yeah, I honestly I wouldn't have. At this point, I couldn't sit here and tell you what I would change.
At this point in your usage of the system, do you think you would recommend it to other engineers?
Yes, I would highly recommend it. Coming from a large studio background like myself, just the high fidelity, the fidelity alone in these boxes it's supreme. When we first in South End at the Cliffs Pavilion, when I first got the PA and we first set it up and put in, like any engineer, we have our list of songs that we go through and listen to just to tune out a PA and make sure that everything's going to sound okay. First song, the system's completely flat. It sounded absolutely amazing. I was blown away. I believe Stuart was the guy there on hand that night, and I think within 45 seconds I was already ranting and raving to him, and he could probably confirm that. So.
Amazing. So, do you have any message for the guys at Tannoy, the engineers that have put this system together?
Great job, guys! I really appreciate the opportunity to try your system out and to test it out, basically. Yeah, like I said a million times, I'm blown away by your system. I want one in my living room.